So there you go. Hopefully you have looked at all of those verses, not just the first two, or the first one, the middle one, and the last one. All of them. You've got plenty of time to do this. We're not going to rush you. Okay? Make sure you've gone back up and you've read through every single one of those and found different verses about God's promises. Now, there's more than that. There's loads more than that in the Bible. Okay? Just Google it. Just Google it. Google something like God's promises to us in the Bible, or verses that tell us God's promises. There are loads. Now, as Christians, we have hope. What do we hope for? Well, we hope for a life, a future, and a promised land, because it says it all in the Bible. In Jeremiah 29 verse 11, it says this: "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." I'll read that again. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to your things you have hope for, and you're going to pray over them. Okay, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a few things, but what I want you to do is I want you to pray for those things that you have written down that you hope for. Okay, we also have hope in Jesus. Okay. So, like it says in John 3 verse 36, which you read up above, so I'm not going to repeat it. It says about Jesus being our only hope. So maybe we could change the phrase, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope," to "I trust you, Jesus, you're our only hope." Because that's the way it is. Jesus is our only hope. Now, I really hope that you do trust in God, and that you do trust that Jesus is the way to heaven, that there is a hope in this world, and at this time we can rest and be glad that that hope is with us. God is with us throughout. God always keeps his promises. Now, at the moment, people are doing the rainbows in the window, which is so nice. It's such a great gesture. But every single time I see a rainbow, I remember the story of Noah and the ark. And the rainbow means God always keeps his promises. And he does. God keeps his promises. We have that hope because God keeps his promises. So every single time you see one of these rainbows now, I want you to think that God keeps his promise. So what I would like you to actually do now at the end of this session is I want you to take some time, okay? I didn't do a game at the start or didn't do a massive talk. I want you to take some time, some proper time, at least 10 minutes, where you can pray and that you can connect with God. Now, below me there is a video. It's a really, really good video, and it's basically it's like 8 minutes of people's prayers for hope that a guy is reading. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to get yourself into a proper place of prayer, somewhere you physically, not like an actual moving to a church or anything. I want you to get yourself into a state where you are ready to pray. Limit all distractions, turn everything off, only have this video in front of you. Now, if you just want to listen to him praying these prayers, do it. But every single time he says amen, make sure you've taken it in and you said amen. Okay? Or if you want, put it on mute and read every single one of those prayers as well. And at the end, I want you to do your very own prayer of hope as well. Then I want you to pray over those things that you hope for. Pray over those things that you hope for, that maybe God can take those from you and he can push you forward and give you that extra hope that will get us through these times. Now, at the moment, obviously, I hope that the coronavirus will die down and we won't see massive effects of it in this area. It may happen, it may not, but I can rely on the fact that I have hope in God, that I have a future. He has plans for me, and there's a place for me to go afterwards, and I hope you have that hope as well. Okay, so continue with the stuff that is below, and I will see you next week. Have an amazing week. Keep yourself busy. Don't be getting yourself bored. But before we do all that, before we go and you do all those prayer things, I'm going to pray for you guys as well. So Maybe this is your time to get yourself into a state where you're ready to pray. Lord God, thank you for the message that you have given us. Thank you for the hope that you have given us. Thank you for the promises that you have given us. I pray now that as we go through these hard times, that you would keep us hopeful, that we would stay faithful, that we will be able to trust in you, Lord God, through it all, that we may be able to strengthen each other in our families, that we may be able to talk about you and your promises. Lord God, I pray that you would bless us now. I pray that you would heal us of any problems that we may be having. I pray that you would give us things to do and that you keep our minds fresh. And I pray for the whole situation with the virus that's going around at the moment, that you will be able to cleanse our nation, that you will be able to keep us safe. In your name, amen. Bless you guys.